lower the guys have a calling range. It seems. I don't recommend it still, but people play it. I see that on like yesterday I saw Jeremiah Williams playing 2K. He played 2K or even like 10K, and the guys have calling range on the small blind a lot. So it has to do with the rake. I don't use it, but yes, I just don't like it. You know, I don't like it. I think it's you're always kept in a way, and I don't think it's the way we want to play. Uh, Boylock has mic off. Glorian, can you just
No,
put
my mic's on.
mic? Your mic is on. Yep. So just Glorian. I'm waiting for him to. I'm just going to check it out with him so we can start because it will be interesting to hear him. Him and Anarchy. I want to hear. Okay. And I will also start recording. Okay, so ace XX board. We're gonna go ace X. Why I'm hearing myself? Why is that?
I don't know. Here has no echo.
I see. I hear myself sometimes. Now. Hmm. Why is that? I hope it's gonna be okay. Last time there wasn't these problems. I have this noise. I hear myself. See. Yes, High V also says eco for him. Okay, let's try to come. I'm going to try different different link because they were never like this. So we're gonna try again. Even now, echo is gone. Actually, everyone should be on mute. Why? The echo gone. Yes, the ones talking should have a headset. Okay, Frankie, put a headset. I'm waiting for Glorian and
Yes.
Boylock also.
I'm here. I'm just muting so no echo from my computer, but I
Okay,
don't think it's me.
Gloric says he will be writing in the chat. He is shy. He is shy, and he will be writing in chat. Okay, I will also have the Skype on my phone. Yes, Glorian is with us, Frankie. He is our opponent, but he doesn't want to talk. He will be writing. He says he doesn't know much about multi-way pods, so he will be listening. But be sure to write, Glorian. Okay, just be sure to write because I want to hear your opinion. Gloric is also one of the best players on the stars. Actually, the three players that I respect are here. Okay, that I think that are good actually, because all the other guys except Gachu are nits on that list that you put on the Discord. Uh, okay. Uh, there's no noise. Frankie has a headset. Boylock is there, and Glorian is there. I'm gonna now start recording also, and we're gonna go. Like board to board. Okay, board after board. I'm gonna start recording. Uh, Hello guys. Today we have a big study group. 13 of us, three best players and stars, and we're gonna talk about multi-way pots. Multi-way solvers is here. We're gonna talk about our strategy. Uh, we also have a few talented guys like Boylock, which I think it's really good, and soon he will be, in my honest opinion, one of the best players and stars. Really, really soon. So I'm glad also that he's here. Okay, let's start. First board, we're gonna go. It will be ace, low, low, without a flush draw. We're gonna start. Like you see, this is multi-way solver. So this is our position because uh, basically this is UTG, MP, cutoff, button, small blind, big blind. Wherever you put, there is only calling range on button, small blind, or big blind, so there is no calling range on hijack or cutoff. We're gonna start like with. We're gonna put. I think like hijack range is decent because that's around 20 to 24%. So we're gonna put ourselves as hijack. We're gonna put a button and we're gonna put a big blind because this will be most common situation for us to be in. Uh, okay, so first board it will be uh, ace and two lower cards that are not in a flush draw. So let's say ace 8 5. Okay, now I want to have. I'm just gonna go. Okay, good. It's good. I wanted to say that we want to do it before we get the solution. We want to say what is our strategy. So I'm gonna put just in my notebook this board ace 8 5. Um, okay, so now I want to hear you guys. What is our strategy? So we are on the hijack. It's basically middle position. We have a call on the button from the reg. Reg has around 4 to 5% of range. What is our strategy on the ace 8 5? And I will also put one interesting thing. We're gonna go into the PIO and we're gonna put exactly the same board, and we're gonna put it only heads up. So we're gonna put middle position range, uh, just to see a difference between here. We're gonna put middle position range 21.5. I open all of these mixed hands, so my range will be around 24%. And we're gonna put the button range that is calling middle position, so button calls. So button is calling around 5%. We see a button range around ace queen, king queen, ace jack, suited broadways, suited, little bit of suited connectors and pairs. And we're gonna put the board of ace 8 5. We're gonna just check if the suits are good. Seeing the Prometheus. Ace of spade, eight of hearts. Okay, ace of spade, eight of hearts, and five of diamonds. Okay, now the suits are good, and we have one more. Starting pot will be 6. We have left 97.5, and we're gonna put out of position. We're gonna use 2 sizes, and on the turn we're gonna use 3 sizes. On the river, we're gonna use block size 3/4, 200, and all in. In position, we're gonna put 2 sizes. Same here.
That's
Hello, hello, guys.
hello,
It
hello.
Hello. Yeah.
seems that I was disconnected, guys. I don't know why, but I was disconnected. It seems that I just can't be on the Skype. I just can't be on the Skype on my phone and on here. So I'm gonna share a screen again. It seems that I just can't be in a two place, so I will just have to do it like this. Uh, okay. Uh, we have the first board, Ace 8 5. We have the first board. We have the pure solution in heads up, and now we're gonna see what is our strategy multi-way on the Ace 8 5. First, we're gonna see what is our strategy. How do we play this spot? And then you will tell me what do you think it's the strategy of the GTO. Okay, so Ace 8 5. How do you play it? Frankie, you first.
Probably check range here. It's not a
You're
good
checking.
board. Yeah, check range.
I also
As
played like that. I also did play it like that, but when I started to looking for into these multi-way solvers, they're playing it differently. I also checked the range because I feel like if we are having a reg in position, his range will be pretty narrow, and he will be flopping it here good. And if I have a c-bet range, I don't think he's gonna make a lot of mistakes. That was my basically that was my strategy. Because if I think it's easier to play when he check backs, uh, people will be capped, and I can still bluff on the later streets. And I'm uncapped, and it's easier to play on the turn. That was like always my strategy, but Solars doesn't play it like that on this type of boards, which is pretty strange because we will have the exactly the same board into the heads up, and it's pretty strange. Okay, so Frank is checking range. Glorian, how do you play this spot? Also checking range, I think, based on from what I remember about uh, spots. And Boylock, I also want to hear you, but I also think that by what we're saying that Boylock is also checking range here.
Yeah, I mean, depends if there is like recreation or not in the pot. If it's three heads, I'm checking range too.
Okay, yes, if it's like button, if the button is fish, I think I think generally you want to have a betting strategy. You're just
I
losing
feel like
weight.
especially the big blinds. The big blinds a fish, I don't want to miss value, like a straight of value here,
Okay,
because
so you're saying that your strategy depends on the button and on and on the big blind. So both of them.
mostly on the big blind, because I think like fish will stab a lot when everyone checks multi-way,
Okay.
so I don't mind checking range if the fish in the button, but if the fish is on the big blind, I'm never checking my value here, like never.
You see,
And
I
I
didn't.
also bet like good shots
I
with
was I was
backdoors and
always I was always thinking about more of the button than on the big blind. But your point is also nice. Uh, Glorek, can you just write? You can just write what are you doing in this spot, so I can have idea and tell people what are you doing because I also want to know. But generally, yep, I'm playing a check range. I'm playing a check range strategy because I think it's easier to play. Um, but we're gonna see what is. Yep, I'm actually surprised. I'm actually surprised because Cbet of 11% is basically check range also. Hmm. I'm surprised because I actually sold when I was on vacation. I actually sold a few boards like Ace Jack 3, like Ace 10, 5, two tone, and there was a bunch of betting going on. And on Ace 8 5, we have basically check range. I don't think that there's any value. You see, like the size that you want to use multi-way is 25%, and generally we will play this board as a check range. Uh, okay, we're gonna just go to the other board. We're gonna put the board that I did. Basically, check range that doesn't have sense to do anything when it's like this. We're gonna go to the Ace Jack 4. Let's go to the Ace Jack 4. Ace Jack 4. Basically, I think now when we're having check range, we can just see what is button doing. And from what I noticed, I also, yeah, I didn't see what the Glorian said because I just can't go win. Can I will just try to see a chat here. Okay, I found it. Okay, I found it. Glorian says also that he prefers the check range, and I also made a chat on my other monitor so I can see whatever you're writing. Um, Frankie says I like the Glorian thought process about the wreck on the big blind. That was actually Frank Boylock. Boylock said that his strategy depends on the big blind. Yep, and I also think it's really nice input. I never thought about it, and yep, when you think about it, it's actually good. You're missing value if the big blind is a fish. I also never thought about it. I was also always worried about the range that is stronger than my range. You know, against the big blind, your range is stronger, but against the button, your range is not stronger, basically on any board. So I was always worried about him. And let's just look at what is now something really, really, really cool is happening that I was never also doing it. Look at this. We see that button has a polarized strategy, which has uh, Button has a polarized strategy. You see how much he's using the bigger size. This is like something that I don't see, that I don't usually do in games. I usually just step like 1/4 or 1/3 when I'm on the button. But you see, like this is the button range, how it looks like with mixed strategy, and you see like Ace Queen is actually betting more as a 66, and Ace Jack is betting more as a 66. So generally, we should be playing in this situation more polarized. A lot of hands are betting like this. Like look at look at basically Ace 7, Ace 6, Ace 5. Is all mixing a bigger size in, and I don't think that people are doing that. So we are betting quite often the bigger size, and I think a lot of our bluffs that are pocket pairs want to use this size. So when we are doing it, I want to see what is the big blind strategy. So we see on the big blind, you're basically calling the ace x. You're calling. This is like interesting part. Look at how much the big blind is calling hands like a 7/8 and hands like a 7/8, 6/8, 8/5. Do you call this type of hands, Frankie? Because I would mainly check raise this type of hand. I wouldn't call that much on a big blind when button is so polarized. You see, like
Uh,
button is stepping 2/3 and we are calling 7/8.
yeah, I would call, but probably would call with the backdoor flush draw, 8-7, 8-6.
So we would call with
Uh,
these hands against two
yeah,
thirds.
and about check raising, probably not because I still have the hijack to act. So
Yeah, but I think like if I'm generally my strategy here was I was always thinking I have one player behind, and if I call, I look so capped with this hand, and my removal is good because with 7/8 you can like hit a two pair, you can hit trips, and you can hit a like a draw, like you can hit like a 6, like a 9. You can continue bluffing. So I was like never, literally never calling 7/8. I would always check raise 7/8, 6/8. All of these hands I would just check raise. I wouldn't call this. And I also noticed that the solar is calling in a multi-way these hands. I mean, it has logic. Okay, you have these backdoors, but I feel like against this size, this hand, you look so. I mean, so capped, and you're against two strong ranges. That's why I don't like to call a lot. I like to check raise a lot this situation. But actually, solar is playing like this. So if Frankie says he's calling these hands, he did play this spot correctly. I would basically call like ace x, and even some ace x. I would like ace jack. I would like to check raise. Mixing with two pairs, you see like Solar is only calling ace eight, which I don't think people are doing. Solar is calling ace five, and Solar is actually calling basically most of the 5-5 hands. So this is the strategy we should be playing, but I play much more aggressively than this. You see, like how much Solar is saying, okay, I have the weakest range, so I'm not gonna play aggressively. I'm just gonna be like condensed and just gonna call a lot of my top pair hands, a lot of my middle pair plus backdoor hands, and I'm gonna also slow play my two pair end sets. I'm sure that I don't think that I saw anybody play like this because I don't see that people are slow playing this amount multi-way. What do you think, Frankie?
No, I'm definitely low playing this much, but I'm over folding for sure here.
Yes, I'm also folding.
I'm not calling for three, for two, 6-4, something 9-6.
Now,
Definitely not calling here. Maybe I'm folding ace
this type of
10
hands.
off is something like that. So I'm
Yep.
definitely over folding. I'm not checking raising enough to.
You see, like
I'm
I'm also over.
I'm, I'm playing more passively for sure.
Look at this. Like he's calling king eight and queen eight. Uh, like, like in my thought process, I would just use like queen eight as a check raise bluff. That would my. I would like okay. I have a queen eight. I block button's best ace that he's going to generally have, and he's going to have a lot of off ace queens. So I would generally just check raise queen eight. I would check raise queen eight. I would check raise like 7-8, 6-8. All of this continuing range. I want to continue. I would check raise, but Solver is actually just calling these hands. So Solver is actually playing really passive in this line, and he's calling. He's like sticky. Let's see what is going to happen what is going to happen on the turn. Is he now folding this middle pair? So we see a call, and we're going to say that the PFR just folded, because look at the PFR strategy, guys. His PFR is rarely calling. So PFR is mostly check raising and folding. So PFR now recognize that these hands will never be a call. That I think that all of us are playing like that, but PFR is now like heavily check raising with ace king, ace queen, with bluffs. You see, like now he's using 7-8 as a bluff, and my strategy on the big blind is similar to strategy of the hijack. Actually, yes, this is the after the big blind called. So big blind has called on the ace 8-5. Button stepped big size, big blind has called, and we're suddenly folding 77%, which has a lot of sense because we're not going to call all of these pairs. And we are actually folding a bunch of ace x hands, and we are folding ace jack off. We are folding ace jack off, and we are check raising a lot of ace x. Like we are bluffing with a7, we are check raising with for value with the two pair and the ace king and the ace queen. So this is really good, and you see like how much now the middle position is starting to bluff with the 8x. So he knows that the most common hands that's going to be uh, that are basically nuts are going to contain 8x. It's going to contain like pocket eights and ace eight. When you block these hands, basically it's really important. Yes, this is really sick. I mean, I played my big blind similar to this because I felt like Anarchy said, I'm just gonna not gonna be good with like many ace x hands. Why would I want to be calling it on the big blind? Um, I think like 8x. I would just play my 8x on the big blind, like also use it as a check raise bluff, but we saw that actually Solar is never doing that. So just remember now when you're in the middle position and you're faced with the call, You're just saying, okay, I'm just gonna be super polarized, and I'm just gonna check raise a bunch, fold really, really a lot, and call rarely. Like we are calling 6%. So this is the strategy we want to play, and I like this strategy actually. I really like it because we are suddenly now like really, really aggressive. We overfold. We are folding ace jack, ace 10, ace 9. The reason why we're folding ace jack because button steps will contain a lot of jack x hands. So button will be stepping queen jack, jack 10, jack 9 really, really often, and we want to fold now with the ace jack. And our value range starts with the ace queen and the two pair, and we are mixing some ace x bluffs with ace 7 that can hit uh, probably continue bluffing. Like we can hit the 6, we can hit the 9, we can gain some equity on the later streets. So we're using it basically as a bluff with ace 7. We are not doing it for value, so we are bluffing with the top pair in this situation. A7, A6, you see like this possibility of open-ender or possibility of gut shot. So we're using it as a bluff. Uh, and yeah, basically our value range is ace queen. We see like a little bit of ace jack and ace 10, and that's it. Yes, it will be interesting to see if the solver keeps the pattern on most flops. Okay, it will be. Just let's see. Okay, now we're just gonna act that the PFR has folded, and we're just gonna use the turn like total brick, and we're gonna see what now big blind does. And I'm just gonna write it also to see like so basically PFR has check range, button steps, polar and big blind. Uh, Big blind calls a lot of sets and two pair and two pair. Okay, so big blind strategy to me is most fascinated because big blind is playing really honest, like and trap like honest but trapping a lot. So he's like saying, okay, I'm gonna have so wide range, and I'm gonna have so much of the top pair hands, and I'm just gonna protect all of my top pairs with my sets and two pairs, and I'm just gonna play like I'm gonna just put everything into the call. So that's like really something that I didn't ever play like this. I would say, okay, on the big blind I have the weakest range. I'm just gonna use a lot of overfolding, like Anarchy says, and I'm gonna check raise a bunch. That would be my strategy. But that strategy is not good. You see, like Solver is doing different something. So my strategy that was improvised, that I thought is the best in this situation, is actually not the GTO. So it's not the best strategy. Uh, so we're just gonna see what is happening. Okay, we're gonna see now. So big blind checks on the turn, and we're gonna see the button strategy, and we see there's no more small sizes anymore. So we're just polarized. We were polarized on the flop. We are polarized on the turn. We check ace king, pretty insane. We have little of ace king, but we check most of the ace queens, and we bet most of the ace nines. And we bet now ace six. Uh, we are betting ace three, but that has a gut shot, so it's okay. And we are bluffing with the pairs. Still, we're still bluffing with the pairs, and we are still bluffing with the 8x. Okay, I think this is okay. This king six is diamonds. Let's see, king six are diamonds. Basically, it's only diamonds. Okay, king nine is having the hearts. Okay, 5 6. So we are bluffing with the 5, and we are bluffing with the 8, blocking two parent sets. Our range is way stronger than the big blind range, so we are putting pressure. And big blind is starting to fold a6 and a7. That says that has a lot of sense, and ace 9, and also ace 10. He's calling ace jack, which is his best ace-x he's gonna have, and this like ace 5, and still he's only calling two parent sets. So I think now to me it's obvious what the big blind is doing. So big blind is he just knows he's in the range disadvantage and he will just protect his range with calls. He's against a polar range because button bet polarized on the flop, he's polarized on the turn, and big blind is only into the basically into the call mode because most of his hands are top pair, and but he's still continuing with 7-8 of clubs and 7-8 of diamonds, 6-8 only of diamonds, and 6-8 of spades, and 6-7-8 of spades is also calling. So we are actually still continuing with the 8x, which I wouldn't do ever. Like 7-8 I would fold and 6-8 I would fold always.
He's check raising or folding, right? Only calling
Yes.
with a flush draw.
He's calling with the 7-8 of clubs.
No, raising.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, he's check raising. I didn't see it correctly. Yep, he's check raising 7-8. So he's only calling 7-8. Okay, then has sense. I would actually fold 7-8 of clubs my game. And he's actually calling 78% of 7-8 of diamonds. Okay. 6-8. Okay, 6-8, he's folding actually all of it and check raising. Okay, it has a lot. Now it has more sense to me. Uh, I didn't see it correctly, but basically this has sense. So we are continuing basically on the turn with top pairs, folding the worst top pairs, and two pairs sets. We are mostly calling 8-10. We are calling 8-10 of little bit of 8-10 of spades. But look at this, we are still calling king 8, little bit queen 8 only with the diamond. Basically, we can just ignore, I think. We don't need to call like, let's say, so king 8 was how much? Like 70% of king 8. So we can just simplify and fold or check raise with the 8x. And that's it. So we call two pair sets mostly ace-x that are good, that are not blocking bluffs, and with the middle pairs that we call on the flop, we are now folding on the turn or check raising as a bluff again. Okay, and let's see. Okay, we called once more, and the river will be like complete brick. Let's say jack. Okay. Let's see now what will button do. I think button now will be. I think button has to bluff 9 with the 5x. It just has to turn it into bluff. And okay, we're gonna see a pie also. But here we can just enter another board because on the ace-8-5 the strategy will be check range, and we're gonna just put the different board. Okay, we are checking now, and we see that button is actually going all in. So button is having only one size because he was so polarized. He only has one size. He's checking ace queen, and he's just jamming with the two pair plus and bluffs. Yep, it has sense. He was polar on the flop. On the turn, he has to be polar on the river. And he's bluffing with the 7 and with the 8 and yeah, I think a lot of boards will be interesting because Glorix says the board like 7-6-4 will be interesting. I think to me it will be more interesting board like a 9-10-6. To me it will be more interesting because button still has to be tributing a lot of 9s and 10s, and we have enormous advantage in the or pairs and sets because big blind should be squeezing 9s and 10s really often. So I think this board will be really interesting. But generally, I think here we can just make a really good conclusion. Uh, on the ace XX, button wants to stay polarized. He's mixing some 1/3, but actually he wants to be more polarized because his range is strongest, and he's bluffing with his pocket pairs, and he has sets and good ace-x hands that he's betting big size. Big blind is playing condensed range. He's defending with only calls mostly, check raising some bluffs with bottom pairs and the middle pairs. He's calling some middle pairs on the flop, and on the turn he's mostly folding them or check raising them as a bluff. So that's the strategy. And on the river, when finally button goes all in, we're mainly calling the ace jack, which is our best. Okay, we are also folding ace jack, which is actually two pair, and this is sick. I mean, this is really. We are folding now ace jack, like 70% on the river. Hmm. We are calling ace eight always. We are calling ace five always, but we are folding ace jack. Frankie, do you have an idea why? Where we are folding ace jack?
Hmm.
Because I would be jamming like on the button. I would be jamming ace five, so or ace eight. Let's go back.
Yeah, I think it's because we're
Yes,
not
but
blocking his most
look at this.
his most common value. That
Yes,
is
but actually look
eight
at this. The
fives.
the button is not jamming ace five or ace eight. Button is checking behind ace eight and ace five.
Sick. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so when he goes all in, what he's bluffing with? I mean, I don't understand how can we fold ace jack. We are blocking jack 10, but I don't think that he's bluffing with the jack 10. He is.
He's bluffing
Yes.
Jack 10, Queen
Okay,
Jack.
okay. Yes.
So you basically want to block his sets, eights and fives.
Hmm. Yes, you want to block sets, but I didn't see that he's bluffing with the Glorian says versus the pool, it has no sense. I know it
Yeah,
has no sense, but we want to know the GTO. And this is like really sick if you just think about it. It's really sick that we are we are basically checking behind ace eight and ace five, which is to me insane. But yeah, it's
I think
GTO.
that everybody would value bluff here. Value bet here.
Yep. And also what is really nice that we are actually only shoving. We don't have any other size. And pool would like bet all of these two pair with this size probably. But we don't want to use this size because we are polarized on the turn. We want to be polarized on the river. And we are bluffing really much. You see, like we are bluffing all of the 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, and most of the 8, 9. And we are bluffing all of the Jack 10. So we're bluffing like really a lot. Yep, really insane hand. Really insane. I'm just going to write myself to see that we are polarized. Uh,
The
steps
interesting
forward.
here is think what is the pool is playing them because I think the average pool will check Jack 10, Queen Jack 100% of the time. We'll value bet ace 8, ace 5, 100%. I think they
Now,
will too.
what?
So,
Yes, sir.
and maybe they do value bet ace queen, so folding ace jack is not the optimal. I think it's mistake. Fold ace
I,
jack.
I would say how I think the pool plays. I would say like this: from what I see of our pool, what I think it would do. On the ace 8 5, I would say their strategy would be to start betting with hand like probably ace queen, maybe ace jack, but most like ace queen. The normal reg on our mid stakes pool is gonna play like this. They will never stab like weaker ace x hands unless the big blind is a fish. They will not stab with most of them with like middle pairs. They will not turn them into bluff. They will never bet like this middle pairs and continue betting, bluffing them on the turn and shove them on the river. That would only do like these like good players on the stars would do something like this, but the pool will never do it. So I think our strategy uh, actually against them, do we actually want to play like a GTO on the big blind? That's the whole point. look at this. If we go back, do we want to play this strategy? It's the question. Do we want to play as the big blind like this? Do we want to play like where's the big blind? Let me see. Okay, do we want to play like this as a big blind, or do we, because if we know that they are not stabbing the optimum amount and they are not, uh like you said, Anarch, you're folding some. I'm also folding some ace x hands here. I would basically fold hand like ace 10 immediate. I would fold like ace 10 off. I would mainly fold. I would fold some hands like, okay, I wouldn't fold with the backdoors, but like ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, I wouldn't fold ever with the backdoor. We can have a backdoors there, so I wouldn't fold it. But I would fold like ace 10. I would fold like ace 10, and I would check raise a lot of like hands like ace 6. I would like check raise it as a bluff, ace 6, ace 7. So I would fold like ace 10. I would fold like king 8. I would fold queen 8. I would fold jack 8. Queen 8, I would check raise or fold because I want to block like ace queen. But generally, I wouldn't ever call 8 10. I wouldn't ever call hand like a 6 9. I wouldn't ever call hand like a deuce 4, or like even 3 4. I wouldn't call. So basically, I would check raise or like check raise or fold all of these hands that he's calling, even 7 8 6 8. I would just check raise or fold, and that would be player dependable. So the question here is, do we want to suggest that people play like this? Would you suggest that people play like the solver is? That's the question. Do you think it's a good idea to play like this on?
Yeah, yeah.
So big blind is basically playing like a big station without like really passive play. This like really passive play, and I understand why he's doing it, because he has the worst range and he doesn't want to. He's overfolding, but he doesn't want to compensate. Generally, from what I notice, whenever the solver, and I'm talking about the solver in the heads up situation, whenever the solver is having the worst range or is having the big range disadvantage, the solver is going into the overfold and he is using a bigger check raise frequency. And here is not happening that. You see, like we are not check raising at all, basically. Okay, so basically, I think I'm just not sure if we want to play like this. Okay, now we want know what is the GTO, but I don't know if we want to play like this. If opponent answer isn't the, but I mean, what is the opponent? Let's see his strategy. I mean, you see that he's like betting ace jack ace queen, which I think that people are doing. I don't think that people are like betting this ace 7 often, ace 6, ace 3, ace 4. I don't think people are betting that often. But like the big thing here is, do we think that he's bluffing with his hands? Uh, do we think he's betting these middle pairs that the solver is actively betting? And that's the only question. And is he using this polarized strategy? Uh, if he's not playing like this, and I think people are not playing, it's now question, do we want to play like a big blind is playing? And I'm not sure. I don't know that. To me, the big blind strategy looks like really passive, really passive. And yeah, I'm not sure. I'm actually
I,
not sure.
I think we need to play more passively because the bot is not playing this way. It's not bluffing these combos like sixes, 5 4, 6 4, maybe 8 7. He's not bluffing these combos. So if he's not bluffing enough,
Then
his betting range is basically very heavy. So
yes, Nikolai is asking, is it passive for the disadvantage of the range? I think it is. I think actually he has like he has the widest range and he has the range that is lacking the nuts in this situation. Like his percentage of the hitting two pair is going to be way lower than the button. That's the first thing. And the question is here. Uh, yeah, he's basically 5%. He's just having the widest range, and he's just playing passive because of that. But the thing is that usually in a heads up situation, the solver is acting completely different. That's the thing for me. We're gonna just go now. I'm gonna put one board that I want to see. I'm gonna put board like this: Ace 9 3 or Ace 9 8. Ace 9 8 two tone. I'm gonna put it into heads up, and we're gonna put it later on the solver. Okay, basically we know the idea. So I'm just not sure, do we want to play like this or not. I just think it's hard to know. I mean, I don't play like this at all, and I feel like in the multi-way pots I'm doing really good, and I'm not playing like this. I'm not that passive on the big blind. I actually overfold, like Anarchy says, he also overfolds, but I'm just using, like, except these calls with middle pair, I'm just going to use it as a check raise bluff, and I'm going to fold some top pair hands immediately on the flop. Like ace 10, I think here like ace 10 is the hand that I want to fold, because he should be stabbing 10 jack queen 10. This type of hands he should be stabbing 9 10. And I think with the 10 we just want to fold, and solver is calling like mostly like 70%. He's calling only folding 30, so I would just fold it. Okay, let's now see. We're going to try to figure out the strategy. We're going to put the board of the ace, ace. Okay, didn't do it. No, not ace 8 5. I want to do it with, see, like this. I want to do board like ace jack 4, ace jack. Let's say ace jack 7. It's a little more. Ace jack 7 rainbow. Okay. Um, what about now, Anarchy? What do you think now? Ace jack 7 board where we have jacks and aces that other people don't have, so we have the nuts advantage. We have all of the ace jack, and button is three betting some of the ace jack, and he's rarely calling ace jack off. So we have more of the ace jack hands on the button, because button should be three betting all of the ace jack suited hands. So a big blind should be also squeezing ace jack suited. He should be squeezing jacks and aces. So I think in this situation we have more of the nuts advantage.
It's
What?
interesting. Yeah, it's
Hmm?
interesting. It's interesting.
Yes. What do you think now about our strategy? What will be our strategy? I even play this strategy as a check range, but what do you think now the solver will do?
Mm, maybe betting a little much when on polarized.
What do you think about the hands that the solver will bet? What do you think? Which hands will solver? What hand is like the worst hand that worst top pair that solver is betting?
Worse, I think. Ace 10. Ace 10. I think ace 10.
Ace 10. Okay, so you would say like this. So solver will be bet like ace 10. Will solver? I would say like solver will bet queen 10 always. King queen is
Yeah,
it big? King queen is betting. We are bluffing with, let's say, pocket fours, pocket fives. Uh,
six. I think he's bluffing sevens and jacks too.
Okay, so the CB strategy on the on the middle position would be then around 40%, I would say, because he's having 21.5. He's having worst hand. His worst off ace is ace 9, which is like opening around 30%. So he will mostly have an ace 10 off. I would generally think that ace 10 will be a check, and he would start really betting hands like ace queen, and he would be mixing some hands like ace 5, ace 4 suited, ace 8 suited as a bet. So I would say that he would be doing it as around 40%. So let's see. And we will both wrong. But still has a betting range. What do you think? We see that the size is 25%. What do you think when you see a c-bet of 27%? Do you think there is a value in the betting range if it's 27%, or is it better to play as a check range?
Hmm. I think it's a simplification is better on check range.
And
It
you were
depends
right.
what it depends on the opponent too.
And you were actually right. He's betting ace. He's actually betting even ace nine. So he's betting ace nine. He's betting ace nine mostly with a club. Mostly with the club without the backdoor. Okay. Okay. Uh, Ace Jack is also checking a bunch. Ace Queen, Ace King, Aces, Jacks. I know now when I see this strategy, I would actually think that it's better to play the check range because we're just bluffing with it like deuces, threes, and fours. We are not bluffing with fives and sixes. We are not bluffing with eights and nines. So basically, our bluffs are mainly these lowest pocket pairs, and we are turning some seven into bluff that has sense. And that's basically it. King Queen. Okay, King Queen is there. Queen 10 is always there. I mean, it has sense to have a bet range now when I think about it. If you still want to bluff with this, you're only risking one quarter. You have the nuts advantage. So I think it has sense. So just gonna write like 27 CBET percent. Okay, and CBET percentage. We're betting 1/4. Okay. I think now, in my thought, I think it's better to play actually this than a check range because like this queen 10 is so nice as a bet because with this queen 10 you can just like I feel like queen 10 you can just bet shove. Uh, it's just so good and you have so much equity to hit the nuts and you're blocking ace queen. You can fold out the hand like ace 10. You can fold out the weakest, the worst aces. In reality, the pool I think will overfold to bet shove in a multi-way pot, and we can actually check it out. I'm going to use the range research quickly. Let's see now. Actually, is the pool? Let's see. I'm going to just check it out to see if the pool is actually overfolding to it. But what do you think about it? Anarchy, would you say it's better to have a betting range or just check range? Now, when you see this, what would you do when you see this?
I would pick some combos to bluff 100% of the time. I think like Queen 10,
Like
9-7,
7x
yeah, something like that.
and
Yeah,
pocket pairs.
yeah, yeah.
Let's see how aggressive he is. We see that basically the button will not gonna overfold at all. Button answer is raising around nine. Button is actually raising a bunch. Look at this. He's using like 30% of raises. So button is like really attacking the c-bet in this situation. And I think, and I generally think that people will never do this. And if people will never do this, I think our c-bet is way more successful. And if we can use the node lock here, and we actually can't because it's impossible in the multi-way solvers to use the node lock strategy. But what do you think, Anarchy? If we would be able to node lock it, what would you think that the solver would do if we put that actually button is not raising 30%, that button is raising, let's say, 7%? What?
Probably his betting range.
Yes, I also
His
think
betting
that.
range.
So I think the key takeaway here is that we can just raise a lot more. And I didn't play like this. I played as a check range. But actually, when you think about it, if you're pool, and I'm going to just show you what the pool is doing in this situation. I'm just uh, using also only regs in this situation because I think we want to see only regs. Let me just make it like this. I'm just going to see if it's clear. Look at this in the multi-way pot. We're going to see out of position triple barrel. So this is the out of position strategy. It's betting 30%, folding versus raise 38, flop check fold is 63, turn double barrel 51 and river triple barrel 54. And look at this. So generally their strategy. So this is the only regs, guys. Only regs in a multi-way spot that we are interested in. So no fishes, no anything. And triple barrel out of position is basically bluffing like never or almost never. And we will just see like these bluffs reject 10 sound like basically like the best possible bluffs. And all of this is like, look at this. So it's like top pair plus basically always. So you see actually here that when they triple barrel this spot, only regs, it's basically like rarely, rarely a bluff. And I want to see actually how the out of position plays. So they check fold versus the flop C by 65%. Check fold 51. Check fold is 54, and they're folding 65 on the flop. What do you think about that, Anarchy? So this is the regs, guys, on the big blind. So big blind is actually folding on the flop like 65% of the range, and he's folding on the turn out of this 65% of range that he already folded. So his range is super strong. He's folding 51, and on the river he's actually folding now 54. So what he's calling with the bet shove? Bet.
Only
What
two
is
pairs
his
plus.
like? His like range is like top pair plus, and that's it. And I want to see in position their raising range. That is the whole point that we want to see. Look at this. So their raising range is 7.3. And let's go to the ace XX. Ace low rainbow 2.6. Ace low connected 6.9. And it's like one gut shot and everything else is top pair plus. Top pair good kicker like ace queen, ace king plus and sets and two pairs. Ace Broadway X 1.6. Ace Broadway X to tone 5. So we saw that button should be raising 30% on this board, actually, this Ace Broadway X, right? And it's 1.6. And the solver is saying on this identical board, the board of regs are raising like 1.6, and actually they are raising against on the ASXX board, they're generally raising over like around 4%. Anarchy, what do you say about this?
So we can see bet range if we are PF4.
So we actually see now it's like 100% because this is my pool and all of these hands that I played. Uh, there is no like bite hand on the stars. So this is like all the hands that I played, and we see that they're like this is only a mistake pool, and they're playing like this. So now that we see that solver is actually raising a bunch, and you see like solver is preferring, look at this size that solver is using, like 5x. So we're gonna see just gonna write it down. Raising position is 30%, 21, 1.6. Okay, this is insane. I mean, really insane. Okay, we're gonna go back. Okay, so generally Now we see how people are playing and how people should be playing, and we see how Solar is attacking, really heavily is attacking. So let's see with what he's bluffing. So his value range will be 2 pair plus. We see that it's mainly ace jack and the ace king is, but he's going to rarely have ace king. So basically some of the ace queens, but mostly it will be 2 pair plus, and we are raising as a bluff with middle pairs. We are raising as a bluff with the bottom pairs, and we are raising as a bluff with a king 10 where we block the ace king. We are raising as a bluff with the queen 10 a lot, and that's it. So 2 pair plus some of the ace 4, ace 3, ace 6, ace 8, ace 9, but mostly it's going to be like 2 pair plus and bottom and middle pairs as a bluff. And I want to see like what is happening on the turn. This guy will be folding everything, and a little nice spot. Look at these guys. So here basically, what would be your strategy, Anarchy, when in a situation like this? So you see PFR is betting, button is raising. Do you have a call range here? Because I don't have a call range. I would only
No,
have
no, no,
free
no.
raise.
I only have a folder raising.
Would you raise a
Not,
king 10 or queen 10 like a half of the times in this situation?
no, never,
Like
never, never. Well,
king queen
I'm
a lot.
only raising here in sets and two pairs. I'm not
Yeah,
bluffing.
really insane, guys. Really insane. Okay, nice. So we get the big blind out of the way and look at our strategy. We have a little bit of, I mean, little bit. We have 14% of clickbacks. Our clickbacks will be sets, will be some ace king, some 2 pairs, mostly sevens and jacks, some king queen, some ace jack. Okay, and we're gonna still also call a lot of aces, a lot of jacks, half of the jacks, a lot of ace queen, a lot of worst ace x hands. Okay, so we call, and the turn will be a bricks just to see now what is going on. This was really good, because now I'll be definitely changing strategy, guys, because we see how the people play. Frankie said before we go to the turn, what happens to big blind when the PFR calls in position? Okay, we're gonna see also that. I'm gonna get back. Just I want to see what will happen there. I want to see now how aggressive will be button on the in this situation. So button is still bluffing a lot. Look at this. I mean, he's basically bluffing every 7x. 8-9 is bluffing. Jack 9 is always betting. Look at this. Half of the queen jack he's bluffing. I just want to see. I just want to see what will happen. Is he gonna really barrel it off? And now we see that suddenly all of these worst ace x hands are faults. We still continue with the basically ace 9 plus. We still call. What is this? We still call this. Okay. And let's see a turn river of the three of hearts. Is he gonna now just barrel it off? Is he just gonna barrel this like 7x and jack x hands? Because I think he will. I really think he will. We check. Yeah, he's he's bluffing 8-9. He's bluffing jack. He's basically now just he's not bluffing with the 7, but he's bluffing with the jack. So queen jack, jack 9 always, jack 10 always, queen jack half, 8-9, which is basically bottom of range. You have to bluff it, and yeah, you're just barreling, and you're bluffing with ace. I mean, what is this? You're bluffing with the ace 6. You're bluffing with the ace 6, ace 5, and ace 4. You're bluffing because the people are folding ace queen, so you're bluffing with this. Nikolai is asking, I don't understand how can be so aggressive on a board where he's behind. Uh, he's so aggressive because you see that on the we're gonna go back on the flop. You see that actually the he's just also falling really a lot, so he's just raising really a lot. If we're just gonna go back just to see, that's the reason. So we're gonna go back here and go back here, go back. You see, we are okay. He's betting 27%, and he's using a small size. He's not actually overfolding at all. He's behind. I would say like this. He's behind on the nuts region, but generally his range will hit still decent. You see, like he's having a lot of top pairs in the range, and he's having a lot of top pairs, and basically he's not calling with air. He's calling with the top pairs. Yes, I mean his range is like full of top pairs, and he has set of sevens. Jacks he's not gonna have, mostly like really low percentage. But his range is flopping really good. I would say actually, if we have a comparison of the EV, button wouldn't be behind. It's only nuts advantage, not. You see, like cutoff range is like 21 to 24%, and button range will be 5%. So button will flop better in the term of percentage of top pairs and percentage of equity hands. And uh, middle position here or hijack in this spot, it's still gonna have, you see, like it's still gonna have a lot wider range. Mm, Another card like below, we're gonna, I'm gonna show you in the bio. We're gonna go now ace 9 8, so we can take these conclusions. But generally, uh, for sure, if we can put it in the EV, button is not behind here. That's the main thing, and that's why the button can raise. Okay, now we're gonna go to the basically what is the key takeaway here. The key takeaway here is that you should be having a c-bet range on the ace low. I wouldn't, you can check range, but on ace Broadway X, the c-bet percentage is we saw 27%, but on that 27%, the answer is to raise 30%, and people will not going to do it. So we want to bet a lot wider with 25% of size. And button can raise in this situation because he's going to flop this flop really good. Uh, okay, step ranges. Gloria, I want to see a step ranges. Let's see. Okay, we're going to go back. We're going to play the check and look at their step range. And he's again polarized. Okay, button step polar 60%, 41, 66%. Okay, and we see that he's using again bigger size. The problem is, Glorian says it's also a reason to go check range on the flop and you still don't lose EV. You lose the EV if the button is not stepping like this, and I would say that our pool is not stepping. Let's check again how our pool is playing. This spot, step flop 38% multi-way in position. Step multi-way caller in position. Let's see how much they step on the ace. So ace low rainbow 32%, ace low connected 34%, ace Broadway X 24%, 24%. We see still there's these bluffs of the bottom pairs. We still bluffs like a fives and sixes, but look at this. His step range, and this is only Rex, Their step range is on exactly this board. Ace Broadway X Rainbow is 24 and the GTO is stepping 60. Guys, our strategy wants to be bet. There's no question about we want to bet. We don't want to check now. We definitely not want to check range on the Ace Broadway X. Just think about it. We want to have a betting range. We want to bet a lot of hands. We want to bet with a 1/4 of size. And there's no reason ever to check range because the guys will step 3 times less than the GTO. GTO steps all of this, bluffs a lot. People are not doing that. GTO just is so aggressive because, like we said, if we're going to bio, actually the button will be even. I think button will be actually a favorite in the EV because it's not just about nuts advantage. It's also about the range advantage. And when the range is that narrow, it just hits better. It will have a lot of less air in the weak hands. So that's the reason we want to have better range. And now I want to see what will also happen in this range. What happens to big blind when the imposition calls? Yeah, we want to see that. So let's go back. We see a betting range. We see that he's calling still. He has a call range also. He rarely folds basically. And big blind is again now it's like little more, but still doesn't change a lot. Except now like sevens are now like check raising always. So it changes a little bit, but not that much. You still are playing. The problem here is now that the big blind just these hands can have nuts potential. So that's I think reason. The pattern is the same, but the board here is different because like King 10 and Queen 10 has the nuts potential. So I think that's the reason why he's so aggressively check raising them because of the nuts potential, and he now has to just check raise these value hands also. But still a lot of like Ace 7, Ace Jack, still a lot of top pairs only call range, and we still see Jack 9 as a call. Let's see. Jack 9 of spades. You see, like Jack 9 of spades is calling, and Jack 9 of diamonds is using as a bluff. So we see that he's still calling with this Jack 9, with Jack 8 again. So Jack X with the backdoor. So middle pair with the backdoor is calling. Bottom pair, let's see, 6-7 is calling, 5-7 is calling. So he still calls, which I don't think that people are doing now in this line. The like bottom pair is clear call. Like bottom pair with the backdoor is a call. Mixing some check raise bluffs. Okay, the pattern is the same. We still call a lot. Top pairs, we are more aggressive, but not that much. Uh, check raising 8%, 8%, call 29. Uh, just write it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We're gonna just see, put it as a fold. We're gonna see now on the turn does PFR over bets. I would say yes. I would definitely say yes because now the button range is getting a little bit capped. Still has some value hands, but getting capped. If it's getting capped, I think we just have to overbet because I think we are uncapped and we want to put the money in on the river. So I would say that we will see an overbets now. And we have the next board also ready. The next board is ace 9 8, and we're gonna have it also in pio, so just I can just confirm about the EV spots because you're all asking why it's so aggressive. How can button be so aggressive? Uh, Yes, we are all betting Anarchy. You see, we are having still 1/3 there. 1/3, okay. We are mixing three sizes. We are mixing in all of the three, or in all of three sizes, the value hands. Like aces are in strictly 1/3 size, or check. I would check it mostly the way I would play it. I would also check it on the flop. Okay, ace king I would put in like 2/3, and the solver is also mostly using it as 2/3. So what is his over bets? Like jacks, sevens is over betting always, which has a lot of sense. You're unblocking everything. So sevens is always an over bet. Uh, Ace jack is over bet, mm, mostly mostly an over bet, and our bluffs like threes mostly in the 75%. Fives mostly. So our bluffs like these pocket pairs are in the 75%, and our bluffs with our bets will be blocking. You still want to block like a bottom set. So it's actually easy to understand. So on the turn, we are using the overbets with bottom set, two pairs, top two pairs, and our bluffs will contain this value head because our value range is mostly sevens. So we want to bluff with seven. We can hit. We are blocking his best, like sevens are his best hand. We are blocking sevens. We can still outdraw his strongest hands. We can hit the two pair. We can outdraw the ace queen. We can outdraw the ace king, which he's gonna have small percentage of the time. And we can hit trips. We can outdraw the ace jack. You will have like an ace jack. Okay, definitely nice to know this. Really good spot. The next one will be ace. Let's see in the solver, ace of diamond, nine of diamond, eight of spades. Ace of diamond. Nicola is asking afterward, is it possible to use the same ace jack below seven rainbow board and check the response differences? It could be become a completely different spot. Afterwards, it's possible to use the same. I think like the ace queen seven, ace jack seven, or ace king seven it will be pretty much the same on the two broadways. We're gonna just have the bet strategy. On the ace, like ace jack or ace jack five, it's gonna be basically the same. Ace jack three is gonna be basically the same. Ace jack nine is gonna be basically the same. So I don't think we need to check. It will never be a completely different spot because we see a tendencies that are pretty similar across. Like we choose these two boards and we have the similarity of the big blind. We're gonna now see the third board, and I think we're gonna also see a similarity there. So let's just enter that board like this, and let's put the board in. Okay, the board will be ace of diamonds, nine of diamonds, and the third card will be eight of spades. Okay, we have ace nine, eight, and now it's dicey, guys. What do you think now? Do we have or don't we have a c-bet range? Because look at this. Okay, okay, didn't solve yet. Okay, we'll check it in the pile. Do we have or don't we have? Really interesting board because now like king, queen jack, and queen 10 are still there, but I'm actually not sure. I would play this spot still as a check range. Not sure. Ace 8 9 against the middle position button will be calling eights a lot. Why are you confused, Frankie? Check range. We solved it here. We solved it here, and the solver in a heads up spot has 100% of a check range. Look at this now, guys. Look at this. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. So you see how you're saying, how can Button be so aggressive? Button can be aggressive because he's actually equity EV favorite. He's even equity favorite, so he can definitely be really aggressive. Because look at this, we see that we see that out of position has 66 combinations of top pair, which is a lot more than in position, but like percentage, low pair low pair is 20.9. Let me see. Okay, low pair sixes, sevens, and fives. Okay, let's see here. Six and sevens. Okay, so this is the 25.5 king high. So 59%, 59 combos of king highs compared to 11, and nothing is actually 36 combinations, and it's only 7. So look at this. This is basically the biggest difference. A lot of this is one, like 100 combinations is nothing from out of position, and in position has only 20 combinations of nothing, and based on the range it's 40% compared to 29%. So a lot of less air in position is going to have. So that's the reason why his EV is higher, because nuts advantage is in the out of position, but range advantage is in position because it flops better. And now when it's multi-way, I'm not sure. In a multi-way, I'm not sure because now we have three ranges. Outplay is at the check range, basically. I just don't see like this is such a tough board to play that I would just play it at the check range. Yep. Okay. We are good. Check range it is. Check range it is. So I'm just thinking which range, which flop was I seeing yesterday that I was so surprised. Check range. So all the anarchy and the Gloric were good check range. So yesterday I'm just thinking what type. It was like 3 a.m. yesterday, and I'm not sure what the board was. I know it had two diamonds, and I think it was maybe ace 10 3 that I was surprised. Maybe it was ace 10 3. That I see like 40% of betting range at 33. Ooh, so it wasn't that board. Let's see. Maybe it was ace jack 3. It was like this. That I was 28. It wasn't like this. Maybe it was ace queen. Let's see if it was ace queen. It was ace queen, guys. So sorry. Ace queen 3 two tone. Ace queen 3 two tone to us. Okay. We're just gonna check that out, and yeah. Yeah, but I was still surprised. I mean, it's like 41% of betting range. Okay, let's see. Ace queen 3. Just gonna put it ace and queen. And let me see if it will change if we put like 3 of diamonds and ace of ace of queen 3. Okay, it's the same. It's little lower, okay, but still over 40. Ace Jack 7. Let's also click Ace Jack 7 with the two tone. Let's see the difference. So Ace Jack 7 was 27. It's gonna be more than 40, I think. No, it's not 22. But if you put a lower number like 3, it's gonna be a little more. It has to be that because of the button range, it's not gonna have all of the pocket 3s and it's gonna have all of the pocket 7s. So that's that different. So it's basically the same, like we see, like without a with or without a flush draw, the strategy is the same on the Ace Jack 7. We saw 27%. It's here is 28%. We see that with we see that the we see that the betting range is, let's say when we bet, is he gonna still raise? He's gonna still raise 30%, guys. So nothing is changing. Uh, the flush draw is here, but nothing has changed. Okay, let's go back to this ace queen tree that I put just to check it out. Ace queen tree. This is our last king ace x board. Ace king tree. Okay. Ace king tree. Ace king tree, two diamonds. We are doing 41% of betting. 41%. 41% of c bet. Okay. We see that we are actually using a polarized. We're having also a big size in the game. So let's see which hands prefer big size. Ace queen has sense, and pocket queens. Pocket three has mostly a big size. I actually didn't use this ever. I always had a small size in the multi-way. So Solar is mixing big and a small size. I just don't think it's better just to have a small size, just because people really overfold, and I don't see like value. So I would just advise to have a, and you can just bet more. Like you could probably go like 60. You basically can bet range because people will not gonna. Still, he needs to raise 26% of range. He's not gonna do it. He's gonna put. Just let me see. 17%, 17%, 66%, and 24, 25%. Okay. I think here we can just see like the patterns are the same. We are bluffing. We are bluffing pocket pairs. We are bluffing. The problem here is that we don't have a bottom pair to bluff. So we are using like the king jack. We're using jack 10 when we are using pocket pairs. We are using gotchas like 4-5. And we are bluffing with some, I mean, betting some queen x hands, queen jack, queen 9, queen 8. And we have a lot of like natural bluffs are like our gut shots, flush draws, pocket pairs, and we are using that. So I would just advise you to use small size because people will not going to respond like this. They should be, they are not. We see that Solar is immediately raising queen 10. We see that Solar is raising, let's see which one. 6-7 is diamond only, so flush draws. Raising ace x hands, which people are never doing. People don't raise ace 9, people don't raise ace 7, mixing like all of them, not raising ace 6. So we see that response in position is to raise and use his hand like a king jack as a bluff. Let's see. Prefers to have a diamond, okay. And jack 10. Okay. But king jack is really small frequency. King jack of clubs is raising frequently. So yeah, I think it's all the same. We just want to see is big blind playing passive or not. So button calls and the big blind is, we see that big blind is playing the similar strategy to the strategy on the ace jack 7. Basically the same, just little more of check raising, but still a lot of calls. He's calling the, now he has to call these middle pairs, and he's folding like the with the 10, with the 9 is only with the clubs. So he's using the same strategy as before. So like everything is the same. We queen 5 we use as a bluff. We use queen deuce of clubs as a bluff. So we turn now the middle pairs into bluffs like we did before. So everything, guys, is the same. We can just conclude ace XX board in a multi-way pots. We just know how it plays now. We know how the GTO is, and I have advice how we want to play. We want to exploit the pool. We saw that pool is not raising these spots at all. The pool should be raising it a lot. So we're gonna bet on the ace Broadway X, bet a lot of. We can bet range. I don't want to advise you to bet range, but bet a lot. Like, not, don't bet 27%, bet like 67%, 70%, 80%. If we want to go in extremes, bet range, and you will be good because their response is not going to be near GTO, which is raising everything. So on the two Broadways, we are going to have a betting range. On all of the other spots, we're not going to have betting range. We saw here that we are not equity favorites. So when it's ace and the two lower cards, no matter if it's flush draw or not, we're just checking range because we saw on the ace 8-5, we saw the ace 8-9. So only two Broadways, flush draw or not, you're gonna have bet range. Use 1/4 size, and that's it. I think have we have a really good idea what to do on the ace XX boards. Let's do one more. One, because we're not gonna. I thought about going through everything, but it's really good. It's interesting, but I don't think we're gonna have that time. But what do you think, Frankie? Which board are you interested in?
Something like 10-9, 6,
I,
10,
I
9,
would
8,
also,
5, something like that.
let's go like this. Let's go first to the lower boards and then conclude with this like 10-9 something. Lower boards I want to also see. I want to put it in Pio because on Pio it's just to see, like, let's see, like 4-6-9. Is that okay? Like totally disconnected board. We're gonna put it in Pio, and now we're gonna put it in the multi-way solver. Reset, and let's enter the new board. Reset. Okay, we're gonna put like this. So we're gonna go. This is ace XX, ace XX, and we're gonna go to. We're gonna go low boards. I'm gonna tell you now which my strategy was in the low boards. My strategy was checking range because, like you see, that button has insanely strong range on every board. It can, without problems, raise 30% against 27% of the c bet. So it's gonna have even stronger range on the like disconnected low boards. That's my idea. So we put the, let's just see if I'm reading the nice suits. So four of spade, six of hearts, nine of diamonds, four of spade, six of hearts, nine of diamonds. Uh, I would just use check range, basically. That would my strategy. Frankie, yours? From what I
Check
know
range.
about you, check range. And I think
Yeah.
Glorian is also checking range in this strategy. Okay. Yep, check range. Great. Check range. Let's try to think about what was Glorian said. Something around 4-6-7, right? Something about that. I would say like it's even higher checking range, like 4-6-7, 4-6-7. I would like check range always here. Look at this. Big blind is leading 25%. What do you think about this? Like, this is really good. Glorian, you consider big blind dog strategy? Yes, I know. The big blind has nuts advantage here. He has 3-5 suited and 8-5 suited. So big blind can have donk. Um, I don't think a lot of people are using it still. So check range. So question now is, if big blind doesn't donk, do we want to have a CB strategy?
No, 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 no.
Yes, on heads up, I had a donk range there. Yes, but I didn't. Gloria and I had a really nice discussion, and I was actually wrong. Um, Usually, when I was solving, I like you see now, I didn't ever use the geometric sizing that is possible because people were never doing that. And Gloria told me, why didn't you put the geometric size possible? I said to him, the people are not doing that. But then he said, yeah, but then the strategy will completely change. And
Yeah.
it's the truth. And I just didn't put it. And after that discussion with Florian, I was actually going into PNC. Okay, I did fucked up this spot because I mean it was really good spot, and Florian actually played really good. And I was actually mad on him. Like I showed him the sim. I played the hand perfectly. I'm saying to him, but he said you didn't play it perfectly because you didn't include geometric range, geometric size. Because when you dunk 25%, you could just face a raise of 20x, and your strategy suddenly the GTO will never use the donking range in that spot. So I was in mistakes. But because of that mistake, I was working on the strategy using geometric sizes, and I started to use it geometric sizes with raising donks and also raising delay c bets. And it's really tough to play against. So, Florian, yes, you were right there. And because of that strategy that we were speaking, I just developed the new strategy in like delay c bet spots where I face a delay of like 30% and I go raising 20x in a situation where I can have the nuts and the imposition can have the nuts. And he's in a super tough spot to be in. So definitely really good talk about it. Okay, so what now? Now, if we think that you see like it's check range 469, 467 is going to check range, but what will happen if big blind doesn't have a donking range here? Is
You
that
check you check even more.
yeah? Okay, so because the big blind is leading some of his value hands, now if he's checking everything, we don't have incentive to see bet at all because his strong range, his strong hands will still gonna be here. And yeah, so button strategy is still, I mean, it's really aggressive strategy. I want to see what is going on the big blind now. Is big blind really aggressive? You see, like big blind is more aggressive now, 14% of check raises. And we see he's mixing. So 33 is like 3x, right? Yep, 3x. So he's actually using a smaller size. Okay, so he's stabbing. He's using mostly this. And look at his check raising range. Check raising range, you see, like he's calling always with force. I mean, you know what I noticed here, actually, guys? I think that Big Blind is heavily protecting his call range. You see, like how much of two pair sets is only in his call range, and I think all of us, I'm sure for Anarchy, because Anarchy and I play similar, and I think that Anarchy would always check raise pocket fours and sixes here. I'm like 100% convinced, and I would also. And you see, like how Big Blind is. I mean, look at this. Like I would never call ace three. I would never call. I would probably not even call him like ace. I mean, ace eight has a gut shot. I would probably check raise it because you block pocket eights from button. But you see like how much actually the big blind is like passive and calling a lot. Yeah, I didn't play like this in the multi-way pots, you know. So general theme is that big blind is protecting his calling range with a lot of value hands. Would you agree on that, Anarchy?
Yeah, and I think he's not checking raising for us to protect his range, and
But
he
Gloria,
might
look at
face
this.
the higher sets too.
Look at this. 5-8 is mostly calling. 3-5 is mostly calling. I mean, I just have to write this. I mean, it's something that we didn't play like this. So I see that big blind is actually he just want to protect all of these middle pairs and top pair hands with his value range. It's the only reason, only logical reason here. Clarence says you don't block bet call range. I mean, the actually, if you see that button is stabbing a bunch, you see like button is stabbing a lot of like queen 10, jack 10. But he's also stepping like for protection. All of these eights, nines, tens, jacks. You don't block that with 5-8. So why wouldn't you check raise that? I mean, and the problem is the way I did play this. But I'm gonna tell you. Uh, look of the bet call. Let's see a bet call. I'm okay with it. Let's see a bet raise fold. Let me check this. Look at this. What do you think about this strategy, Anarchy? Would you have a only call range here?
Never, never, never,
You
never.
see, I would also just click it. I would never here do it like this. Okay. Okay, so we hear he called 8x. Yes, he calls 8x. Hmm, this is his call range. So he calls basically all of. He calls ace 8. He calls 8-9, which is open ender. Calls 7-8. I mean, his response is, what is this? Is he stabbing king queen off? Okay, check. Go back. He's stabbing king queen off. King jack off. King 10. Okay, I understand. I wouldn't ever stab a king queen. And he's stabbing king queen off. Okay. I just said, Glorian, I'm actually I just didn't play this spot. I just didn't think that I need to protect that much. So I mean I want to check raise my like the way I did play. I just want to check raise my value hand here just to make the pot bigger immediately. And I mean I didn't like I would also check raise hand like a7 here, Anarchy. Wouldn't you?
No, I would just call.
Okay, I would actually.
Maybe I would raise 8-7, something like that, six
A7 would be
five. But
6-5 is
ace,
good.
A7, no, 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 no.
Hmm. I just want to see this. This is like the important thing here. I think in all of this, from what we saw, the big blind is not aggressive as I played much more aggressive than the big blind. I check raise much more, fold more, and called less. That was my strategy general, and it worked really good. But from what we see here, that the solver is actually calling a lot. Glorian says that he also prefers my strategy. Yeah, but it's not a GTS strategy. That's the problem. And I want to see one thing. Uh, let's see. So button is stabbing 4-6-7. Button is stabbing 60%. Button is Yes, hijack must call. Hijack must call. That's that's the true. We call. Yep, he's calling like everything. And if we like go back and if we put a check raise, he still has to call jacks, queens, kings. Anarchy says that he thinks my strategy in this spot was actually better because hijack and butter are massively overfolding. Um, hmm. So maybe we played it as a. Yeah, I also think like now when I think about it, it's the problem here is that I think about the problem I have now with my strategy. Look at this. So button needs to step 60%, guys. You see, and let's go into the range research and see how much the button is stepping. Step flop. Let's go. So this is 3 in a row, 10 high. So maximum 10 high. Let's see this. This is like this board 7, 8, 9, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. So button is stabbing 47%. So actually it's not, I actually thought it was lower. And also on this low board, the button is around 50. So that's not, then actually, yeah, it's here's around 60. So it's not this big of the difference. So yep, you're right, guys. Actually, I think my strategy is better. I think my strategy is better here. So generally, what I would do here. So we see a step and we see that here, for example, we see that he's gonna call hand like a 6-9. He's gonna call hand like a 6-10. He's gonna call hand like a king 4. And I wouldn't call these hands out of position. We're out of position. I mean, I wouldn't call hand like ace jack off. Uh, I wouldn't call hand like a 9-10 off. I would mostly check raise it. I wouldn't call that much hand like 8-9. I would check raise it. So I would mostly check raise a lot of my continuing range because I know that I had 3-5, that I have 5-8, and I would just use a lot of aggressive because I have nuts advantage here out of all of them. And I would just use the bluffs with my gut shots and turn like some bottom pairs or pair plus join in into a bluff. So my strategy would be not calling 30, maybe calling like 15 or maybe even less or 20 or and just check raising like 25. So that would be my strategy. But here from what we see the theme of everything is that the big blind is still just playing a lot, like calling a lot of top pairs, middle pair, and bottom pairs, and protecting that with the value hands. Pocket fours always calling, pocket six mostly calling. Only pocket sevens is check raising. So these like sets, two of the sets are mostly calling, fours are calling only basically, and most of the 8-5 is calling and most of the 3-5 is calling. So this is the strategy that GTO is doing. And yep, I'm just going to write it down. And now I'm just thinking, do we want to play like this? The people are understanding little, not that much. So do we want to just protect this much of our range by calls? Let's see what's going on turn. That's also thing that is important for me. What is going on like, let's say, I don't know, like deuce turn. If will the pattern be the same? So what the solver did before? So the solver before um, folded the some middle pairs. Here it will be like bottom pairs, or check raise them as a bluff, and continue mostly with hands like top pairs. Mm, I mean, it's not like sticky. The Nicola is saying that it is a prerogative to be sticky for the solar much more than the pool in general. The theme here is how do we exploit the pool? I would just think about that? Hmm. Frankie has interesting also idea, but I just want to see this first, and I will address what he said. You see, like how aggressive the solver is as an imposition, and yes, that the key point is here, and this is what anarchy is addressing, and I also acknowledge it just before he write it down. Uh, if you see like how aggressive the button is, like bluffing Jack 10, Queen 10, King 10, King Jack, King Queen bluffing, and what if the pool is not that aggressive? And we were going to actually see how the pool is aggressive on the turns. So you're going to see a step flop. We're going to see also, I'm going to try to see how much they continue on the turn. And I'm going to try to see that step flop, we see step turn and bet. So this is step turn and bet. I want to see a step flop. I don't have that information, but it would be so good to have it. This is the step flop as an imposition caller, and generally in my head I have a step flop bet turn, but I don't have it in a pop-up, so we can actually see here in the range research, and it would be really nice to see, because here actually we would be able to see if I had it in the range research how much he steps this flop and continue on the turn. And that would be a crucial thing to know, because now we see their flop strategy, but we don't know their turn strategy. And Araki is saying if they are not actually bluffing this much, then we are losing EV with our strong hands. We are not gaining EV, and then we are basically just making a pot smaller. They don't bluff king queen, king jack, king 10, king 9. They just check behind of these hands, and now suddenly our strategies of protecting that range doesn't have much sense. You see, like he needs to bluff with the big size, all of these hands, and you see, like we are still now we are turning into bluff on the turn, king 5, queen 5, and we are suddenly now saying, okay, we can have the nuts, you just can't have the nuts, and we are just bluffing a lot, and that will not be able to happen if the pool is not betting all of these hands. So the key takeaway here that we need to think is the pool gonna step the turn aggressive as the GTO. If it will not, then the strategy that I actually play has a lot of sense. Because if they are not bluffing enough, you don't need to protect that much. So that's the key thing. If they don't bluff enough, we don't need to protect that much. We are basically protecting our range just because not be able, not not letting them bluff a weak range. Because now suddenly when they bet the turn, we still have all of these strong hands that we can now or call or check raise. We see we're still calling pocket fours. We are still calling a7. We are still calling. Uh, some of our 8-5. We're still calling 6-7 as a two pair. So we still have a lot of strong hands. But if we are not going to face a lot of bluffs, we don't need to have these strong hands that much in the call range. So I would think that actually my strategy is exploiting pool more than the GTO strategy, because if you're not going to face all of these bluffs, then why do you need to protect that much with your straights? And that's the key thing. I just want to see like on the turn that is not deuce, that is like let's say jack or queen, how the solver will react. Let's see queen of jack of spades, because actually in position will be bluffing with that this jack a lot or queen a lot. We see that he's betting with a king queen and king jack and a jack 10 and a jack 9. So this is all of these hands are really good for him. So I want to see what will happen now? Is the do we want to protect now, or we just fast play and try to punish him? I just want to see what will happen. You see, like how complicated it can be. Still, it's like check range, but we are still here thinking what's gonna happen. Okay, so we check, and he's gonna bet. You see, like he's over betting now. See, he's over betting range. So now he's using an overbet on the turn. So Jack is so good for him that he can. We are now lacking top pairs, so he can just overbet and put our range in trouble. Against an overbet, I think we're gonna still call a bunch. Pocket fours, poker six are always calling, but now we're fast playing something. Half of the a little more than a half of 8-5 we're raising, and we're mostly going all in. It's not an all in. We still, but the big size, 80% of pot. I would generally go all in basically. I mean, okay, we still have 50 blinds left. Okay, it's not an all. This is good. Okay, 3x. Just let me see. Okay, ace five. Our bluff is ace five. Okay, and we 5-7, 7-8, 6-8. We are protecting our range definitely, but we're folding some of the 7x hands now. So we are continuing basically with a pair plus draw, pair plus draw, and our really strong hands as two pairs and plus. Okay, I think seems okay. So on this like Jack, Queen, King, let's see a Queen. Let's see a Queen. Let's go and change something. Let's put a Queen, Spade, just to see what will happen. I think like Queen is even better for him because he's now gonna have more of the top pairs that we're not gonna have. Because King Queen is also often a bet. King Queen off. A lot of combos. King Queen off. Queen 10 is a bet on the flop. Queen 9 is a bet on the flop. Queen Jack is a bet from the button. So Queen, I think it's similar to Jack. He's still gonna be aggressive. We don't have these top pairs. Yeah, he's still basically using these overbets. He's now overbet bluffing his King Jack. And he's overbetting. We are still raising now, but we are way more defending. 8-5 is rarely a raise now. 3-5 is always a raise. Fours and sixes are never a raise. We're just defending the range. We're starting to fold out top pairs. We are mostly folding the pairs that's gonna be a bluffing, like having a jack or 10 or 9, which is his bluffing range. Yep, I think against an overbet, but what we do against a normal bet? We raise more now against a normal bet. Mixing some bluffs. Now we raise straights always and mix some pair plus hands. Okay. Let's see now. I want to see a hand like a 10. What will now happen? Because 10 is also good for the button bluffs. Really interesting spot. So it's a check range, but we have so much here to think about. That's why like these multi-way pots are really interesting. Really interesting. we still need to think about a lot of things when the situation is checking. Like, let me see here now. Now he's using a smaller size. Okay, it has sense. Now he wants to really bet wider, so he's not now polarized because nuts advantage 8-9 is basically he has 8-9 suited, and now 8-9 is the nuts, so he's sizing down because he see that he's like want to bet this ace 10, jack 10, queen 10 hands, so he's sizing down in this situation, and we have 8-9 off in the range, and now we're check raising more, but we're still defending more. Okay. So what would I take as like a takeaway from the low boards? I would like sum it like this: low boards, we check ranges PFR. Low boards will be heavily good for the big blind and for the imposition player. Big blind will gonna have nuts advantage on many of these connected ones. In position is going to have range advantage because he's going to have more, his range will hit stronger. Uh, Even the case is that in this situation on the 4-6-7, the big blind has 3-5 and 8-5. The still we see that big blind is heavily active on the flop. We see his stabbing range. See like this. His his stabbing range is 60%. So still a lot because he's just range that hits better into the percentage. He's gonna more often have a stronger hand. He's not gonna have nuts advantage, but his range is stronger, and he's gonna have range advantage. And the thing is that the big blind is now, as a GTO strategy, big blind is still, like we said, he's mixing still a lot of strong hands as a call. We see that he's calling basically always with pocket four. So set is bottom set always in the call range, middle set mostly in the call range, and he's having a lot of straights in the call range. And the thing here is just is the buttons gonna be active on the turn like it is on the flop. That's the key takeaway. We see on the range research that on the flop they are basically close, but on the turn we don't know. And on the turn, my presumption is that there is no way, by my experience, that on like deuce, we're gonna face uh, 54% of bets. So the pool will never bluff hands like king jack, king 10, king 9, queen jack. All of these hands, the pool will not gonna bluff enough. So our strategy doesn't need to be as a GTO strategy. And I used my exploit strategy to check raise more on the flop, and that's why my strong hands just realize immediately, like they just get more EV. My strong hands like immediately my straights are getting more EV because there is a high chance that they will step like a GTO, but then on the turn they will just check down, and then we just lose a lot of EV. So definitely, I think all of the guys did agree that are actually my strategy that I played. It's good, and you can play more exploitably and not protect that much because general theme is that big blind is protecting a lot of his range only by calling because he wants to protect a lot of middle pair, bottom pairs, and top pairs that he's going to just only call. Okay, now let's go to the third board. Third board will be 10-9-6. 10-9-6. Two tone. It's interesting board because 10 and 9 should be three betting, squeezing, and we have a lot of hands we want to bet, but I think we're gonna still play as a check range. We're gonna see. I'm just gonna reset everything, and we're gonna reset this. So we're gonna put 10, 10, 10, 9, 6. Okay, 10, 9, 6. 10-9-6 two tone. Okay. 10-9-6 two tone. I would say check range, and it is a check range. Okay, and just we will put 10-9-3. Just that straight is not possible. Let me see if it's going to change a thing or not, because it should be actually changing something. Yeah, now it's like 90%, and I still think you can just play it as a check range. Uh, so we're gonna put 10-9-3, and still as check range, because like 90% of c-bet think check range is just much easier to play, and we don't have that significant TV. Uh, Generally, what hand we want to bet, like queen jack, king queen, king jack, we're bluffing with like deuces. I just think we can just put it in check range, and we will be okay. Uh, so we conclude this line. We have the low boards. So now it would be also nice to see like king xx boards. Let's actually do a board king xx once more. I just want to see it. But I don't think here like it's anything that that relevant on like the button strategy. The button strategy is actually polarized again. You see how button is always aggressive, and I don't think. Yep. Frank is saying that on the flop we can use boiler strategy if it fits SPFR. Yep. If the big blind is a fish, we can bet. That's really also a nice takeaway. I didn't ever thought. I was always considering button. I was afraid of the button strong range, but yeah, if the big blind is a fish, it has a lot of sense, because if the button is a fish, they will still step overstep generally. Okay, but I want to see this. Like button is really aggressive. Again, stepping a lot. Let's see the reaction of the big blind when the button is like this. You see, like big blind now, uh, only check raise is 7%, and he is like calling pocket trees always. So we can again just have a main takeaway. Big blind is always playing like this guy, so really passive, protecting his call range. But if there is no, let's see now turn aggression of the button, because for sure it's gonna be on like pure brick of this. It's still gonna be over like 60% probably. So if they will not do it, if the pool will not gonna do it, then yeah, check raising I think is way better. Let's see. Let's see. So big blind on all of this spot is, let's see, probably 60%, 51%. Okay. So he's still continuing a lot. King, queen, king, jack, queen, jack, bluffing with pocket fours, fives, ace five, bluffing with the ace king. Okay. And he's using orbit size, which is insane. King, queen, orbit, queen, jack, orbit, 8, 9, orbit, 8, 9, orbit, pocket fives, overbet, pocket fours, overbet. And our response is now to raise threes. We are calling nines always. We are calling 9-10 always. So we are just protecting the range. And we are turning 3x into bluff because our value range is pocket threes. So we are, when we have ace three, we're saying we are just playing it the same as we have when we have pocket threes. Okay. So definitely, if your pool's not gonna play like this, if they're not gonna be this aggressive against the normal size, we are raising a little more of nines. We are still raising ace three, ace three, king three, and this. This is like 4x, guys. So we are using 4x, almost 4x, little less than 4x. Okay, I wouldn't use this size. Okay. Okay, and I want to go to the king xx fast and queen xx, just fast, just to have like conclusion of 5 different type of boards. Um, so just let's go quickly through it. I think it's gonna be really valuable to just know the strategy. Let's go to the reset to the king xx. So we're gonna just use like king king 7 5, let's say king 7 5. What do you think anarchy now will happen? Generally, even on a king xx. Okay, still solving empire. Uh, how would you play it?
I would play check range, but I'm
I
thinking
would also
about
play check
the
range.
yeah, maybe king X is better for PFR because we have more king X than bottom.
Yes, but I mean, 40% is. Let's see how much he will raise now. 13%. Yeah, so he's now calling a lot of fives and sevens. I mean, it's definitely a spot where he's gonna like top pairs, and yep, a lot of his range will be will be in a trouble. Okay, I actually think I would use check range, but I think now it's like what are we are betting tens, we are betting nines, pretty unintuitive. We are betting eights, we are betting jacks.
Yeah, because if he's lacking of top pairs, so
So we are really
ace,
betting them. We're
yeah,
betting them. But big blind has a lot of king X hands. That's my problem with it. You see, like we are betting like king six. We are betting basically. We're always betting king queen and king jack. We're always betting it. We are bluffing with like some of the like these worst pairs, but we are bluffing with sixes, and we are bluffing with hands like ace six, ace eight. We are bluffing with the ace 10 and ace 9. That's, I mean, pretty unintuitive. I wouldn't do it ever. Queen jack. Okay, this is
and
this
we
is actually nice.
and we are not bluffing king X and jack X. Maybe is the folding range
Queen. It's like queen jack and jack 10 has sense.
of.
Queen jack. Yeah, we're not bluffing that. So only this. Okay, 40%. Uh, what do you think that it's gonna be? Let's say on the big blind, is he gonna be more aggressive now? It actually is. So this
Shit.
is like something that I mean, you see, like he's still calling queen seven, jack seven suited, and he's calling queen five suited. So all of the queen five he's calling, and he's calling. He's basically calling like the big blind is playing like really similar. He's like calling a lot of like middle pairs. I mean, I would fold a lot of middle pairs here. No, I mean like jack seven. Do you want to call it in this spot, or can like a queen five? Do you want to call it? Not sure, but the big blind is sticky. I mean, way stickier than. Florian says big blind need check raise to fold ton of the ace x hands. Yes, but the big blind is definitely not check raising like. If the big blind check raises here, we are folding queens, jacks. Yep, we're folding this. Not folding nines, but folding queens through tens. Folding ace highs to this. So let's see which sizes he's using mostly. Like this is like more than 3x. To this size, we're actually not folding queens. And not folding even tens and nines a lot. I think actually this would be really nice adjustment. I think we just need to use this really polarized size. It will be, this size would make the jump down. Yes, the pool is folding everything. And I think the pool is also c-betting. They are c-betting if the fish is, they are, but generally, yeah. Okay. So c-bet 40, button not raising much, big blind check raising. Big blind, let's see his check raising range also. So his check raising range, he's turning. So his check raising range value is king, queen, basically king, queen plus. So 15%, queen plus in mixing, turning pairs. Okay. Okay, so that's it. So it's around 40. Call. What they're calling, and if the pair call, what the button calls. Okay. So just let's see. Anarchy, you want to see if button
If
calls
it's
and the big blind calls.
the
Big
big
blind check
blind check
raises.
raise, yeah, the
Okay.
big blind check raises, and
We see that if he's using polar size is basically
calling any pair.
top pairs, all of the top pairs, middle pairs, a7, and all of these
And
with backdoors.
easy defense.
Yes,
And the and
and
the
what would
button,
button's gonna
oh,
fold punch.
fold or raise. That's
Fold
interesting.
raise. Okay, really good, really good. Okay, let's now go into the like. Let's see if it will change. Button and button hijack. Glorian, what do you mean? Hold and defend button.
The
Big
big blind check raises, the hijack folds, and the actions goes to the button.
hijack folds. It's like this. So big blind check raises, hijack folds, and button continuing is then button just uh needs to defend all of the things that actually PFR defended. Right, he's now not folding any top pair and he's calling the middle pairs and all of this. Okay. Let's just quickly go to one more like two-tone king 9 7 two-tone. Let's see if it will change more or not. King 9 7 two-tone. Let's see quickly. King 9 7 two-tone. So let's see 27. Okay, bit less. I still I think it has value in c betting. in this situation, bluffing with pairs, value betting, mixing like this, king, queen, king, jack, king, 10, some obviously mixing, checking with the two pair, checking with the sets, so everything is okay. Just like we're bluffing ace jack with a blocker, right? Ace 10 with a blocker, ace queen, sometimes with a blocker. And okay, let's see. When we bet, the response of the button is still like 26 raising. Yeah, definitely we can bet more. We can definitely bet more now. We see that the people are not going to react like this. We're going to raise in position with middle pairs again, like with bottom pairs and ace blockers, jack blockers. This when the big blind, big blind is still playing. Big blind now is more aggressive. So he's still calling all of. You see, like now he's actually not calling on a two tone. When it's two tone, the big blind is not that cally. Okay, he's now folding the middle pairs. He's folding a lot of. It's like he's only calling with the backdoor draw now. Middle pairs on the flop when it's two tone. I'm just gonna write that up, and we can go quickly to the queen XX. So 25. Okay. The raise is 14%. Okay. Okay. And quickly queen XX, and that will be it. That will be it. I want to see like queen XX. It's because it has to be different because now suddenly button will be having a bunch of ace queen offs, so it's gonna be different. Let's see, just okay, reset. Queen 7-5. We're gonna use exactly the same board. Queen 7-5 and queen XX with flush draw. Queen XX. Queen 7-5. Queen 7-5 rainbow. Okay. I would say I would say a lot less than the king XX. 21%. Do we need to have a bet range or we can just have a check range? Because 20% I don't see like much value in it.
Now we can split orange.
Okay. Uh, let's see what 18% range, 80%, 18% raising against the bet, and let's see if we check how much he stabs. So he's stabbing 60% again. So really aggressive. He's stabbing basically all of the queen X hands, mixing checks with the king queen, stabbing nines, eights, checking like deuces, threes, but bluffing with the sixes, eights, nines, probably like value protection, and bluffing with the ace X, ace eight, because his mainly value is ace queen. So he's bluffing with the ace 9, ace 8, ace 6, ace 4. Okay, he's using two sizes. I would mainly use the small one. And let's see the response here. Against the stab, we see again that the big blind is super passive. Probably has a lot of like this only top pair hands. And he's just calling a lot here. I'm gonna write it down. Let's see against the bet and the call. Just against the bet and a call. Let's see. Against the bet and a call. He's check raising 15%, so he's using it more. Okay, but against the step, he's really against the step again. He's really passive, just calling a bunch, check raising rarely, mostly calling. Okay. So Cbet is 20%, and people. Let's see again how much people are. I think actually this spot people don't play that bad. I would say like that they are just maybe not stepping that much of the ace x hands, but generally they will step hand like a king jack, jack 10, jack 9. These hands they will be stepping, so it's not much of a difference. So we can just play it as a check range. Okay, queen 7 5 20, and we're gonna see queen 9 7 two tone, and we can finish queen 9 7 two tone. Okay, queen 9 7 two tone. I think it's gonna be check range now. It's not. It's 26. It's actually more. Do we have value in betting? We have a king, jack, king. Yeah, because of these hands, we, we are betting king, jack, king 10, queen 10, king 10, king, jack, king 10, king, jack, king 10 mostly because of their nuts potential. And yeah, but I think here we want to have actually a betting strategy because of these hands. And their response is going to be raising 23%, so definitely we can go more. So queen 9 7 to tone, it's going to be c bet 26%, and raising in position to 26%, 24%, raising in position 23. Okay. Okay, I think let's see now when it's call is the big blind aggressive. It is more aggressive when it's bet and a call. How much he is aggressive against the stab? I want to see against the stab. We see again really uh, against the stab. We see a really low check raising, and he's protecting with sevens. He's protecting with two pairs, only with calls. Okay, that's it, guys. 5 boards we're going through. Uh, we see what our strategy is. So on a king xx, we want to have a betting range 40% on the rainbow ones, 27% on the flush drawy ones. We still want to have betting range there because people raise button should be raising more than 20%, even 30% somewhere. So it's gonna be good on the queen 7 8, the queen 7 5 rainbow 20. So against on this queen xx, I think we can just check range because in position is gonna have a lot of ace queen off, and we can just play easily as a checking range. But on like this two tone where it's like queen 9, queen 10, you definitely want to have betting range. Just let me quickly do a queen 10, queen 10, queen 10, 7. I think it's gonna be around 30%, 31%. Okay, so I just understand now the strategy that this always doing. So on these like two Broadway boards, or like queen 9, where you can have that like with the ace king and ace jack, where you have that nuts potential in it, king jack off. That's because you're going to open all of these hands off, and the button will not going to have it off. It's going to have it rarely. uh, you just want to have a betting range because of all of the nuts potential, and you still have this like tens and queens, and when you bet he's not going to raise you 23%. So all on all of these boards, like queen, like where it's possible to get nuts with your off hands, like queen 9, you have king 10, king jack off, that button's not going to have that much. You want to have this betting range, so we're just going to put it also there. So c bet Let's see again, cbet 30. Okay. Okay, guys. So that's it. Uh, um, in I think now we see how people play completely different than they should be playing. To me, it's like really good this big blind strategy. I didn't play like that just to know it. We also tell us in situation where we don't want we don't want to play like that. But generally, we see that big blind when it's situation with the c-bet and a call, big blind is way more aggressive, and he's against the c-bet and a call. He wants to check raise a lot, and his check raising goes to like 10 to 15%. And against only a c-bet or against only a step, he's just protecting his range with a lot of calls. Now we want to see, do we want to do it? It depends if if the button will continue to be aggressive as the sole reason the turns. So that's the main thing we want to do. We have like a really good guide on these boards that we've gone through, and we know how the pool plays. So definitely we have an idea what we want to do. I want to thank Anarchy and Glorian, really good players from Stars that were here with me, and I'm really glad I really did learn a lot of things, and I'm really nice to hear your opinions. So thank you guys. It was really good for me. And yep, we can do it. We will be also doing it more often. And all of you guys that saw this video, join our Discord and work with us. And Frank and Gloria says also that they enjoyed. Yes, good luck to us all on the tables. I had a vacation of 2 weeks. Now I'm gonna also be playing a lot, and I'm gonna be also. If you're liking this type of videos, just let me know, and we'll do it more. And if you want to work with us and learn with us, you're also free to be doing it. Today, I wanted to put this multi-way pod because I think there's just people play it really bad, and you can just take and exploit that fact. So you have the boards that you can be able to do it. So if you like it, tell me, comment, give a like, and yep, we're gonna do this more often. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you soon again.